Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength, Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
Hello, coaches. Welcome to another episode of Coaching Youth Hoops. Today, we have a very special guest with us. She is ex-St. Mary's, just got done playing at St. Mary's College in Moraga, California. But before we get into all of that, and before I even say her name, here's what I would suggest, coaches. I am going to read her amazing accomplishments. If there is a GOAT, she is definitely the GOAT of women's basketball. And so you guys go grab a cup of coffee, come back. We're going to do a little pause here because her resume of accomplishments is amazing. It's huge, it's long, and I do not want to skip anything. And she's going to blush and she's going to say, "Why did you do that, coach?" But you are an inspiration, I think, to a lot of players and a lot of young ladies who are up and coming and who these coaches that we're speaking to right now are coaching. So, all right. So we have Taycee Widen. She, like I said, she is just graduated from St. Mary's College in the little town of Moraga, California. Taycee, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. This was a long time coming. And the reason is her long resume of stuff she was trying to accomplish before she got onto the podcast. Now she can check this podcast off her bucket list. Is that right, Taycee? Yeah,
yep.
Right. All right. So correct me on any of these stats. This is absolutely amazing. When I was doing the research on you, kind of digging into your life a little bit. Is that weird? I hope that wasn't weird. But I was like, no. And I'm like, I can't say all of this. It's going to go on forever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm saying it. Let's do this. Okay. So senior year, 14.4 points per game in 32 games, named to all WCC second team. Let's see, St. Mary's and WCC all-time leader in career 3 points. 323. Is that the right number?
Threes.
Yeah, threes.
I think I now have over 400.
I think so too. Yeah, because I think on the website it was wrong, and then I read someplace else it was over 400. Okay. Yeah. Became the 25th player in program history to surpass 1,000 points. So is this your highlight? This next one, top Sports Center's top 10 for a game winner buzzer beater at Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, guys, go research that. Go look that up. You were off balance, hand in your face. You had to get the shot off. We call you the dude. That's what we coined this name. Like, we need it. Every coach needs a dude. Like,
I love that.
Shot. Is gonna, hey, I need 6 points right now. Give the ball to the dude, right? So you're the dude. The top 3-point shooter and let's see, one of the top 3-point shooters in NCAA women's basketball history. One of just 13 players all time and 3 active. Yeah, here it is, to make over 400 3-pointers in her career. 42% career 3-point percentage, and which is second in program history, but you're first with over 200 attempts at St. Mary's, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and next is the one of 24 female basketball players elected to participate in the State Farm College Slam 3-point championship. Right? And the first girl ever to compete in that. Okay. What else? We got you're the free throw percentage leader at 87.2% at St. Mary's. And not only can you play basketball, but man, you're smart too. 3.7 with all of that on top of it. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, graduate student at St. Mary's. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. We're going to continue this because we haven't gotten your high school accolades yet. This is amazing. Okay, so Wooden Citizenship Cup finalist for December for your community work with your team and your fellowship work. I want to ask you what that is and what you guys did here in a second. So that, guys, coaches, that was just her college career. I'm sure I missed a few bullet points on that, but absolutely amazing college career. Now let's go into your high school career, because this is going to come out a bunch of questions about that too. So 2-time Northwest Oregon Conference Player of the Year and 4-time first team all NWOC member. Amazing. You led your high school LaSalle Prep. What was your mascot?
The Falcons.
The Falcons. Okay. So you led the LaSalle Prep Falcons to 4 straight NWOC championships. And you did not lose a league game in your career. That is incredible. You averaged, and speaking of that, that's even better than Aiden Mahaney. He lost, I think, 2 games in his career. So you got one. So, you averaged 21 points per game in high school. See, again, the dude. You eclipsed 2,000 point mark during your final season for a total of 2,097 career points. 2-time state champion, 2015 and 2017. This is going on. I love this. First team all-state tournament team honors. And just tell me to stop. You were the Prep Female Basketball Player of the Year in 2018 and selected as McDonald's All-American or nominee. Selected nominee?
Nominee, yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
That is such an incredible, incredible accomplishments for your baskallball career. That is just.
I really appreciate it.
So we're gonna do this 10 years from now. We're gonna come back, and then I'm gonna expect running for president. Whatever else is gonna be like all this. I can't wait to hear your post education life and what's going on. So again, welcome to the podcast, coaches. Again, settle in. We're going to hear from the GOAT at St. Mary's, and it's not Aiden Mahaney, not named Aiden Mahaney, right? Okay. So we're going to start off. What did I miss? No,
nobody has ever really read off all those accomplishments, so I kind of was surprised myself. No.
I'm sure you don't think about it when you're doing it. Just do it. Put the little ball in the hoop and it falls more often than it does for other people, right?
Exactly.
So, well, hey, so let's start. Let's start when you were a young girl, and also read that your mom was your grade school coach and high school coach. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now there's an opening at St. Mary's. Maybe she can coach your sister in college next, huh?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing. The other thing too is you played with your sister in college. She's a freshman this year?
She's a sophomore now, yeah.
Sophomore, okay. Very exciting.
Yep. She redshirted last year. She was coming off a torn ACL. She redshirted her whole freshman year. And then, she's a sophomore this year. So super thankful I got to play with her as well.
Oh, that is, especially if you get along. That's
yeah. Oh, right. We share a room, so we get along pretty well.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you guys pretty competitive with one another?
Definitely, because we have another younger sister who's taller than both of us, but we used to play one-on-one growing up, and we'd always just get in fights. Our parents would have to split it up. Like, we were very competitive with each other growing up, but I think in college, Addie and we're more supportive than we are competitive. I feel like at this stage, yeah, I think we both just really want each other to do well, and we're always there to support and help each other get better. So I think that's been a very big blessing that I've had the past couple of years here.
That's awesome. And your mom is no slouch of a basketball player herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I read she had 47 points in a game at one point.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
she's crazy.
She held the record for the best 3-point percentage in a single season at 43%. What was your 3-point? Do you remember what your 3-point percentage was in high school? She's got
I don't remember what
42 in college, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was in high school. I want to say around 40%. I don't think it was higher than 42 or 43 that I can remember.
It's amazing in the 40s. Wow. And your dad was a football player and played a little bit at over at Lewis and Clark. I've been in Oregon.
Yeah.
Great school.
Yep. We're a sports family.
Yep.
It's always been something that we've done. So we've definitely lived that lifestyle for sure.
Well, let's dive into that. Your mom, like I said, was your coach. She was your grade school coach and high school coach. That's more common than you think, especially at the grade school level, maybe not as at the high school level, definitely at the grade school level. How did you guys keep it, I guess, that coach-parent relationship harmonious? And what advice would you have for coaches who are coaching their kids?
Well, that's a great question. I think I remember more of high school, of course, just because that was, an intense level getting right before college. So I really did have to work a lot, and my mom was really there to push me, and like she helped me get all those hours in, all those repetitions in my shot to get ready for college. And so I think that I love my mom. We have a great relationship. But it was hard. It was kind of hard to balance that in high school, like a mom coach relationship. Because outside off the court, after practice, I kind of wanted it to be more like, all right, you're done being my coach for the night. Let's just be mom and daughter. And my mom, she's so passionate about basketball, but that's one of the greatest things about her is that she knew how to push us three to get where we wanted to be. And I don't think like I would not be where I am today without her, just because I wouldn't know what it takes. And she knew what it took to get to that college level. And so I kind of needed her there pushing me in high school. And although it was hard multiple times, and I just was like, oh, I just wish that sometimes you could just be my mom. But in the end, like looking back, I am just extremely grateful for just the things that she taught me. And it is bigger than basketball. Like she was my coach, but she taught me so many things outside of basketball that I'm going to take forever in my life. So,
and wouldn't you say that's true for even just take the mom factor out of that? Isn't that what a coach's job is? And
yes,
I always feel like you don't appreciate your coach until you're,
until you're done.
20s, right? Somebody that pushed you, and all of a sudden the light bulb goes on when you're, I don't know, maybe applying for a job or working at your first job, and it gets difficult, or your boss is angry with you, or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I understand what that coach was trying to teach.
Exactly. And I think my mom does a great job. Like you said, we did win like 2 state championships. We never lost a league game when I was in high school, and my mom was a great just motivator for everyone. She obviously wanted to win, of course, like any coach does, but us as players, I think we wanted to win for her. And, I don't know if you see that often now, that like players really do want to win for their coach and not just for themselves. And so she knew how to motivate people. She knew how to get the most out of everyone. So it was easy playing for her.
Let's dive into that, because that's a really good point you bring up. You wanted to play for your coach. What do you think she did that made you want to play for her and win for her? And, if you can think of maybe specifics or a story to share, because I think this is really an important message for the coaches that are listening.
Yeah. So my mom basically grew up like she was a gym rat. She played basketball all the time. It was her go-to when she was going through hard things in her life. And I think that we see that a lot with people. It's kind of basketball and sports, in general, is kind of an outlet for people if they are going through hard times. And so she kind of took that with her in her life. And so that's why I think my sisters and I have also been so passionate about basketball, because we did learn that from my mom. And just in terms of her coaching style, it was just the culture that she brought to LaSalle, and she really built that program. She, I think, got the job there when I was in sixth, seventh grade. And so, I saw her coaching high school girls. I saw her lead them to state tournament multiple years. And then when I got there, I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to help the team. I wanted to play for my mom, and it was just a great culture when I got there. I think the girls loved each other. The team chemistry was always just on point. We all got along. We all did a bunch of team activities together. And I think that is the most important thing before you bring it onto the court, is that you build that team chemistry and that team bonding with each other, because that just takes it so much further than basketball. Like I said, you just you learn team skills, you learn how to work with other people, you learn how to be your best version for others, not just for yourself. So
let's talk about creating culture and dive into that too. And I know we're talking, you can remember your high school and a little bit more, but what was the culture your mom created? How did she create that?
I don't think you can even I think it's just her. I think it came from her passion with basketball, and she being so passionate again about coaching. And this was her first kind of high school job that she wanted to take with her and do for a really long time. She wanted us to go through the high school. And I think just when she came in, she's not thinking, well, how can I build this culture? How can I, obviously she is thinking, how can I make the team the best that they can be? But I don't think she really had to. Yeah, it's not really a formula. If you're dedicated and committed to building your team, and you do have to have players who are dedicated and want to get better. And but I also think that you can just, I don't know, it's a hard question. I obviously don't have all the skills and knowledge to do that because I'm not a coach, but seeing it from my mom and kind of what she did and what she's been through, I think she just wanted the best for everyone, and she made sure of that we all knew that, and she had girls who were really willing to work for her and be their best.
And I think that is, the X's and O's, right? You can Google those, right? You can learn those over time, right?
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it with the culture. I think the culture is such a huge piece, especially in high school, that is often overlooked.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a winning culture, you're not going to have a winning team. I don't care if you have 5 dudes on the team, it's going to be hard for you guys to get 2 state championships, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So next to the culture, right? Again, remember, we're talking to coaches here, right? So the passion that comes through, right? And you kids get excited if you're excited, and you're showing up to the gym excited. Okay. So let's talk about practice. Practice is always one of those things. Everybody thinks, oh, you get better in the games. Oh, they got to play more games because that's the way they get better. Would you agree or disagree with that statement?
Can you repeat that last part? Sorry.
Sure. Yeah. Is practice or the games where you get better?
I mean, I think it starts in practice. I think games are where you gain that experience and confidence, but it does, like, you do that in practice too. It starts with practice. That's what you're doing to work up to games. So when you get in those games, you can be your best and you can be confident and you feel prepared. Yeah. I would give the example of, like, if you do want to be a good shooter or another, like, any skill that you really want to focus on, you're going to get in the gym and you're going to practice that skill over and over again until you feel prepared and confident enough to do it in a game. So I would definitely say that, practice is where it starts.
So as a player, right? I was a player too. We like certain things in practice and we hate certain things in practice as well. So let's start at the youth level. So I'm talking 3rd grade to 8th grade, and then we'll go up to the high school level. In your opinion, and maybe you can just answer it from your perspective, what you think worked for you. We just read through your long list. That didn't start in high school. That probably started before that. So what should coaches focus on out of practice?
Out of practice, or like focus on what they're doing in practice?
Yeah. So 3rd through 8th grade, you can break that down if you want to say 3rd through 5th, and then 5th through 8th is something else.
Yeah. In my perspective, I think I train a couple kids on the side right now, just in basketball and younger kids. And so really what I focus on with them, and of course I'm not a coach, I'm not, all this, but, and what I think from what I can remember that I was doing in those years is I was really just focusing on the basic skills and how to get better at those type of things, like ball handling with your eyes up, form shooting. My parents actually helped me a lot with this. I still do this before I get in the first thing I get in the gym. I do form shots. I do we would sit there and do 100 at each spot. We would have 3 spots, and I would just stand right at the front of the rim, and I would just practice my form over and over again each day.
And you said you did 100 at each spot, so 300 total?
Yeah, even more than that some days. We would literally just
rep. Two-handed, both?
Yeah, just two-handed, just regular. Yeah, just practicing your exact form that you want in practice and games. And so I think it's just, like I said, it's just reps. It's getting comfortable with dribbling with your eyes up, getting comfortable passing, making great passes, just working on those basic skills of basketball that you're going to need for, however long you want to play the game. So I would definitely focus on those rather than focusing on scrimmaging up and down, playing one-on-one. I think that those are great, and you can do that every once in a while. But if a kid is not comfortable dribbling with their eyes up, how are they going to do that in a one-on-one setting, or how is that going to get them better? Those type of things. So yeah, that's what I would recommend.
And what about high school? Now we're into high school,
right? So my mom's practices, we would start every practice they're called daily handles. We would do ball handling for a good 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Whether it was stationary or full court ball handling. And then we would get into layups. She does a couple different layup drills. And we would have a certain goal that we had to get. So we would be running up and down trying to get our goal. If we didn't get it, we'd be running on the sidelines. And then, my mom, some coaches are different. Like my coach Thomas at St. Mary's, he was more not drill oriented. Like we would start out doing drills, but he liked more of the scrimmage type in the on the college team, which made sense. We should all be practicing scrimmaging and playing against each other. But in high school, my mom was way more focused on drills and getting better with those type of things. And so, we'd go over plays. And so, yeah, practice in high school was obviously a lot different than my youth years, just because those youth years, I was more so practicing on getting better with the different types of skills needed for basketball. And then in high school, I was more able to apply them.
Talk to me specifically. Now you're you have this amazing opportunity at the end of the month, being one of 24 female athletes going to this event. You're going into the 3-point contest. You're the 3-point leader at St. Mary's. For a coach that's listening that has kids, and they're training their own kids or training kids on their team, and they want to be a great 3-point shooter. Walk me through a 3-point workout that you have done on a regular basis. And I know what you said, right? Reps. That's reps, but the right reps I think are also important.
Yeah. Yep. So like I said, I always start my workouts with form shooting. Just getting close to the basket, warming up my shot, and then I'll go into like mid-range shots for a little bit to just continue to get myself warmed up. Sometimes I'll do 1 dribble pull-ups. And then
That's your money saying it's time for a McDonald's run. Because with new McValue at McDonald's, you get more than you expect. Like buy a 6-piece McNuggets and add a McChicken for just $1. Your money says let's go. Get more than you expect with new McValue. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
I tend to do a lot of different 3-point drills over the years. With my mom, she's had so many great shooting drills that have really helped me. And then in college, when we would do shooting days or when I would be in the gym shooting with a coach, we would do just different types of shooting drills in a certain amount of time. And for me, I'd have a goal for myself of what I want to get. And then I keep working to get that goal. I'm trying to think of specifics.
What about time-wise? What kind of time would you put in? So in high school, did your mom, were you expected to shoot on your own? Let's start with that question first.
Yes. My mom held me and dad, they both held me very accountable to shooting on my own, because
you can't get enough shots.
My mom
practice.
Yeah. That's not enough. My mom and I would stay after, every practice, or we'd come before, and I would just shoot with her. She wouldn't care how long we were in the gym. She would rebound for me anytime I wanted. And then I also on the side had a couple different just basketball trainers who weren't, associated with my high school. They were just AAU basketball trainers. They would come to LaSalle. They would train me, before or after practice or on my off days. Just working on things, not even in those trainings, I wouldn't even shoot threes sometimes. I would just work on all the other things that I want to get better at. And so I think those helped me tremendously. Then when I got to college, I felt more comfortable doing an individual workout with my coaches because I had known, what it feels like to do before I got there. And so I think that helps a lot too. It's not just working always on what you're great at. You want to be constantly working on things that you want to get better at too.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's dive into the 3-point shot. Again, since, you're pretty successful at it. What do you think is the best advice you got for shooting to be as consistent as you were, 42% from the 3-point line in college? What do you think it boils down to? Besides the reps, I'm talking maybe more mechanics or whatever advice you might have gotten.
So for me, it's completely, my goal is to have the same shot every single time, like where it's like almost muscle memory for me. Like I'll close my eyes and I'll still have the same form because of all of the years that I've, put into it. I don't want to say reps because everyone knows, yes, it's reps, but the form shots, like literally just doing that 100 or more times a day, and like then going to the gym and feeling like when you step back to the 3-point line, you have the same exact form as you did right next to the basket. And then for me, it's just feeling confident and knowing that I have put in that work. I feel prepared when I get into a game situation. And also it helps when my coaches and my teammates have that trust in me and they're like, dude, if you miss 5 shots, like we want you to take the 6th one. Like, so that obviously will help motivate someone. If you have that coach that's telling you, hey, I believe in you, I want you to take that shot for us. Like, that's a great shot, but even if you missed it, and so I just had that confidence all throughout college. Of course, I had so many off days and days where my shot just didn't feel right. And that's okay. Like you get back in the gym the next week and you work on it, and you work on what are some of those things that made it feel off, or why do you think you missed it, and you rep it and you work on it.
Well, and I think you brought up a really good point too that I don't want to overlook. I train a lot of kids and work with high school and college, but more at the grade school level and even at the high school level. First thing to do is you grab a ball off the rack and start shooting threes. Right, it's the first thing they always do. They want to hit the long ball, right?
Yep.
You and I know that's not the best way to warm up, and right, but they all want to shoot that. They shoot the long ball. You brought up a really good point. There was days that you wouldn't practice the 3 because you were focused on other things. But I don't want to miss this fact that to shoot better threes, you start close to the basket.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then how do you build this strength? Like and I'm, again, I'm a 7th grade girl right now, and I want to shoot, right? I want to be able to shoot threes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to the gym. I don't have access to, trainers and such. What would you suggest?
I mean, I think that's tough, obviously. Yeah. I think it does come with time. You're in 6th, 7th grade. You're not going to have all the strength that you're going to have in some upcoming years.
Yep.
But again, like in high school, I was going through a program that did weight training and that did things that were working on my muscles to help me improve that strength. It wasn't just going to basketball practice. Like I was doing, and so were my other teammates. We were all doing things on the side to help us, be in the best shape and just to feel the most comfortable out there. And also like injury prevention, like you don't want to just go and practice each day. And I think it does start young. I don't know if it's super accessible to find like a good program, or if you don't have the correct weights or like exercise things to do, but you do want to be working on like injury prevention type stuff in your knees and in your legs. Because I've torn my ACL and I also tore my meniscus. And you can't always prevent that, but I think those other things outside of basketball that you're doing, workout type things, are super, super important for your health. And we did that in college too. We were lifting 3 times a week for that same purpose. So that also, back to your question, helps build strength over time.
And someone could do plyometrics, right? Their own body weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. I think that's important too. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You briefly touched upon, and I don't know if you actually meant this, but you said you closed your eyes and you want to visualize your shot. How much of that training, visualization training, question one, question two, and mental exercise or mental training did you go through? And if you did or didn't, when did it start if you did?
Yeah, that's a great point. I always want to bring this up, but I always forget. My dad, so he actually he's big into visualization things, and kind of like the meditation aspect of things.
Yeah.
And so he was, the first one to he always tells me to think swish. That's like his little saying to me. If I'm missing shots in a game and I look over, he just points at his head, he's like, think swish. And I always remember that. And so before every game, and he really inspired me to do that. I would visualize what I want to see for myself in the game. Me making shots, making good passes, playing good defense, anything you want to visualize, you can. And I think that actually was a huge, huge part of my success, of me being confident out there. And I did it all throughout college as well. I just would take some time for myself before each game, and visualize kind of what I wanted throughout the game. And of course, it's not perfect. You're not going to be doing everything you visualize. But it does help, and it's helped me. It's just a cool little thing that you can do to help yourself.
What about in those games? Because I talk about this a lot. To find those moments in a game, you just missed four 3-pointers. You missed that easy layup. You missed the free throw. Whatever it is, you beat yourself up, right?
Yeah.
And, something you should have done, something that's pretty routine. What would you suggest a player do in the moment?
It's happened so many times to me, and I know to other people as well. I really have worked on that, and I've wanted to work on that. And I do think that's part of attitude and your mentality as a player and as a person. And I really do believe in positive self-talk and reassuring yourself, telling yourself it's fine if you make a mistake. You have to be able to move on to the next play. And that's what has been harped on so many times by coaches. I've always believed in that because that's always what my mom has told me. In a game, in high school, I would mess up and I would, have a bad attitude about it. And my mom would just scream, move on to the next play. You have no time to think about that in a game. Stop. And that's also just stop thinking about yourself. It's about the team.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, if you miss an easy shot, you should have made it, but you have there's no time to think about that. You'll make the next one. You have to kind of keep telling yourself that. And it's something that you need to work on. That type of mentality is not going to happen. And I still have struggled with it this past year. But if you do take the time outside of basketball to think about it, just move on to the next play. It's fine. If you make a mistake, it'll make it easier for yourself in the game.
Yeah. No, that's really important. That's great advice. Are there any? Your dad used to say, "Think swish," but are there any of those little catchphrases that still stick with you?
That was the big one that he still says.
I steal that.
Yeah, that's the main one that little catchphrase that I can think of right now. Yep.
Yeah. One of the proudest moments I always have is right now I'm doing a 3-on-3 league for girls in Moraga, and I have a lot of my players that I've trained or coached, and they're coaching the young ones. So when you never know if they're actually hearing what you have to say.
Yeah.
When they're repeating the same stuff to the young players, it just makes me smile. Hear that, right? They did, the little sayings, little catchphrases that I have, or the way I might teach something.
Yeah.
I heard someone the other day, I was talking about the ABCs, is always be cutting and screening. If you don't know what to do, either cut or screen. right?
Yep.
Just to keep moving. And I heard someone yell out, ABCs, ABCs. I'm like, oh my God.
That's the best feeling, though.
That's the best feeling in the world. It really is. You don't know if they, like I said, you don't know if they're ever listening to you. Okay, so what's next for you? You're graduated now. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
You going to continue? Are you continuing to play? Are you done? What's the next chapter in your life? Coach?
So I think I'm gonna be done with basketball. I've taken some time to think about it.
Yep.
I think I'm ready. I really couldn't have asked for a better just basketball career. Like
Amazing.
not even the accomplishments, but just like the people that I've met and the experiences and memories that I will have forever. I really, really am just thankful for what basketball has brought me the past like 19 years, and the people I've met through it. So I think I really am I'm ready kind of to be done in this moment. If, in 2 months, I feel like maybe I want to play again or something. I can look into that, maybe playing overseas. Quite a few of my friends have done that. So I'm not going to like close any doors, but at the moment right now, I'm kind of at peace with not playing basketball anymore. And then, my family is from Oregon. So I think after I graduate in June with my school at St. Mary's, I'm probably going to go back home to Oregon for a bit to just see my family that I haven't been able to see for couple years now, and spend some time with them. So that's kind of my plans right now.
Okay, and here's one you're going to think about. If you could relive one basketball moment, what would that moment be? You have so many, so you have lots of things. Many, but one.
One. Oh my gosh. One of the coolest things ever was that last year at Coastal Carolina, the last second shot, like those are the best feelings. Like any basketball player will say this, like hitting a last second shot, like for the win is like one of the best feelings ever. But I don't know. Also, we won the WBI championship last year. We ended our season on a win. And that was one of the best feelings. And then state championships in high school, even though those were a few years ago. It's just, I don't know, basketball has so many, just makes you feel good when you do good. So, yeah.
What do you think the biggest lesson, not basketball lesson, but life lesson or lessons, maybe you have a couple, that you will take away, that you learned because you played basketball?
Mm-hmm. I feel like basketball has taught me a lot of patience, and I really do. Coming into my college freshman year, I feel like I was a completely different person than who I am now, in terms of just, I feel like I'm very like, I'm a lot more confident. I'll say that. That's a different thing than patience, but
definitely.
I don't know. There's so many things that it really has taught me, especially through college. But I will just go back on my point to patience. I feel like I've had quite a few different roles at St. Mary's in terms of like on the court things. Like when I was a freshman, obviously I wanted to do everything my teammates wanted me to do. I wanted to make sure I was my best and that I was always listening for the older girls and all that. And then kind of going into my sophomore year, I had to make a jump because we did lose quite a few seniors. And I kind of had to make that jump to more of a leader on my team. And ever since then, I felt like my leadership has grown each year, and being patient and trying to understand what other people are going through or why they do the things that they do. it just like, I'm obviously not perfect at it, but I think about it and I'm very conscious of it now. And I want to be the best like leader I can be for my teammates. And learning those little skills in between is what makes you a great leader. If you're able to kind of adapt and be flexible and lead different people in different ways. And so I don't know, there's so many things like that I've learned and that I want to take with me outside of basketball. And I honestly have learned all those things from others. Like I wouldn't have learned all these, different things if I didn't know the people that I know and take, something from each person. So yeah, it's a really cool thing to be a part of a team, especially in college, and, go through things together. And yeah.
Speaking of that too, the advice and things you were talking about, who was your biggest influence? I mean, is it safe to say, was that your mother when it comes to basketball? I mean, I know she was big, but would you say that was the mom, your dad, your parents? If you look back on your basketball career?
Yeah, I mean, I think my mom and my dad, they were both kind of different roles for me, but my mom was more like hands-on with basketball. My dad was kind of more of that like the mental side of it, helping me through it. But like it's cliche, like, your parents, but like I would not be where I am, have the success that I've had in basketball without them pushing me at a very young age. And I know some people can think that, parents pushing their kids that can be through negative, a sport,
right.
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to, and I told my mom what I wanted. And after that, she's like, okay, like if you want this, it's going to take work. And so she guided me through that. She guided my younger sisters through that. And having
what you said was key there. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't want to glaze over that point. You said you wanted it, and she helped you get it.
Exactly.
She didn't want it more than you did. Right. And I think that's important when you're coaching your kids is you can't want it more than they do. Because we all, right, I'm here. I want the best for my kids. Absolutely, 100%. But they don't want a particular thing. That's when you have that conflict between the two.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And I know that creates some things, I won't get into that, but I think really the most important thing that you can do as a parent is finding out what your kid wants and then helping them along the way. And that's exactly what my parents did. And just having family support. My younger sister is going through kind of the same or similar things of what I was going through, and all of us being there for each other. It really helped me to get to where I am today. So super thankful for that.
Let's be honest too. It wasn't always sunshine and
no.
So, just going through that grind it's a grind sometimes. And
it is.
I'm sure there was times where you didn't like your mom and your coach.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just part of growing up. Right.
Yes.
There's your coach pushes you, you don't like them. And then when that same person is your mom and she's pushing you,
it's hard.
Yep. It's really hard. And I give you credit for, looking back and saying what a great experience that was, because it can turn out negative. All right. A couple of wrap up questions here. What advice would you give coaches, not college coaches, but high school and grade school coaches? What a couple pieces of advice you would give them when they're coaching kids?
I think first, like I said earlier, piece of advice that has really helped me in terms of all the different teams that I've been on. And it hasn't been every coach. I have had coaches other than my mom and my college coach throughout AAU and all that.
That's right. Yeah.
But to build that team chemistry and team bonding outside of basketball before you step on the court And I know that's hard sometimes, with different obstacles going through that. But if you love your teammates and if you truly want the best for each other, you're going to make sure that as an individual, like, you're going to be the best version of yourself for your team. And coaches have a big influence on that, in order to build that culture chemistry that they want. And it really does lead onto the court. And, that doesn't always mean you're going to win every game because you have great team chemistry.
Right.
No, it doesn't mean that, because at St. Mary's, I think that we've always had great team chemistry. We want to hang out with each other off the court, even though we're together like hours upon hours each day, but we really like each other off the court too.
That's awesome.
And we didn't win every game. Like we struggled here and there, but you could tell on the court that we wanted the best for each other. And that's the most important. That's the best feeling, is when your teammates support you and want the best for you. And it's not always a competition. Like when you in practice, of course, be competitive. But when you step on that court for game days, you're going to do what you can for your team. And then also just learning how to, I think, motivate your players. Because you can have
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
This episode is brought to you by Chevrolet. When you have 4 new tires, every drive feels fresh. Right now, buy 3 select tires and get 1 for just $1 during the Chevrolet Certified Service Fresh Start Tire event. Visit Chevrolet.com/service offers or see dealer for full details. At participating U.S. GM dealers only, highest or equal value tire will be $1. Offer ends 5/31/2025. Not available with other offers.
Not a great basketball player on your team, but they're going to work their butt off for you and for their team, even if they're not a super skilled player. And coaches love that. You want to see that. You want to see your players just working hard. If they make a mistake, you don't care, because you can see that they're putting so much effort in. And I think that does come, of course it's going to be based on person to person if they're hard workers or not. But I think as a coach, you do have that influence on younger kids to motivate them, and to get the best out of each person. So those are a couple things I would say.
No, that's great. And that's great advice. And it's really interesting too, that the advice you have was not basketball advice, really, right? It's that chemistry and motivating players, the people side of what we do. I think you nailed it with that. Okay, right now there's a coach or a little girl who might be listening. She wants to break your 3-point record at St. Mary's. You totally motivated her. What advice do you have for her? She's grade school right now.
Just keep working. If you have a goal and you see it for yourself, you're going to want to do everything it takes to get there. And going into, this is more of the basketball side. It's going to take a lot of work, but you also want people around you who support you. You can't do it all on your own. It really is. It takes a lot of people to make sure that you get where you want to go. And so I think just putting in the work as needed, figure out what you want to do each day, and then take those steps each day to get there, whether it's reps in the gym, form shots. I would highly recommend form shots. I talked about that a lot. But form shots are really the greatest thing. I start every workout with my kids that I train, just doing form shots and getting reps up. So it's a lot of work, but it is like 100%, you can do whatever you want to do if you have a goal and you want to get there. So.
And I'm curious, very last question. I promise I could talk to you forever about this stuff. You're looking back now on, again, you were in grade school and you're looking at yourself now. Did you ever envision you'd be in the spot you were or are in your accomplishments? Did you ever?
Oh, no. I mean, I don't even I didn't even know anything. Like my mom, again, I'm going back to my mom, but like I never like watched basketball growing up. Like, I don't know. I was like,
that's interesting.
I just played. Like, I don't know how to like articulate it.
Get it.
But I really like my mom was like a junkie, obviously. Like I said, like she always had basketball on. She loved watching it. She loved keeping up to date with all the different things that were going on basketball wise. And so once I got to high school, I started like, watching more with her, learning more. And then I'd watch film. That's when I really got into film, was in high school. And film also, I never mentioned that, but it's a huge, huge part. I think being able to watch yourself, not just film on other people, but if you can find a way to film yourself doing different things, and rewatching it and studying it, like it's a huge tool as well. Now I like lost my train of thought. What was your last question?
No, it's great. Yeah. No, I was talking about looking back on yourself and thinking, did you ever think you would have accomplished as much as you have in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Even in high school, I didn't even know. This is a great example. I didn't know who St. Mary's was when they first offered me. I had to look into it. I obviously found out who they were, and then I went on my official visit and just loved it. But I didn't know where Moraga was. Like I didn't. I never had watched them play, and then once I was offered, super thankful. They the coaches were amazing to me. They stuck with me after I tore my ACL, which a lot of coaches did not, unfortunately, but also fortunately for me because it led me to St. Mary's. And I couldn't imagine my place or myself at any other place just because of all the amazing people that I've met and experiences that this has brought me. So,
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Taycee, for your time. It was absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of your accomplishments, and you've done so much already. And I think the life lessons you're taking away from what you learned will serve you so well moving forward. And I look forward to seeing what that next chapter looks like for you. And maybe we can have you back on, I don't know, maybe be coaching at North Carolina or something someday, or like I said, leading a corporation or the United States. So you're amazing. Keep up the great work. Appreciate your time. Coaches, thank you for listening. If you have any questions for Taycee, just reach out to me, and if you don't mind, I'll forward any questions that someone might have. But again, let's keep in touch. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bill. I really, really appreciate it.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.